Today, I wanted to talk about something that has been bothering me for a really long time. Years. I feel like I am a highly ambitious person, but like I am lazy. And I don't know that I actually am lazy because I think I've shown from my actions that I'm willing to work really hard and put a lot of hours in. It's just that often I work really hard at the wrong thing, or like I know what I have to do and I can't get my brain to do it. I remember going to my psychologist maybe 5 or 6 years ago. It was like one of the first psychologists I had. And I remember saying, they were like, okay, like why have you decided to see a psychologist? And I was like, because I want to be able to control my brain. I was like, I know what I have to do. I know that in order to be fit, I need to get up and go to the gym. I know that I have to get up early so that I can study before work or whatever, but I cannot get myself to get out of bed. I cannot get myself to exercise. I know what I need to do in order to be successful in whatever it is, but I cannot get my brain to comply. I remember being like, there's something wrong with me. There's actually something wrong with my brain. Like, I just can't get myself to like fall into line. It'd be the same with saving money, you know? I know that I need to just stop spending on things, but I can't get myself to do that. And I had like all of these really, really big goals, but I couldn't get myself to like fall into line and to do the things that I needed to do in order to execute them. I've seen a few videos come up recently talking about this, and I feel like I hadn't really considered that other people have this same like problem or like go through this same issue where they're super highly ambitious people and they're driven and they're motivated, and not just motivated, like they're committed. It's just that they don't have like follow through. I've seen 2 videos now, one from Layla Harmozy and one from some other random guy. I don't know who it was, about being ambitious but like lazy. Like you feel like it's lazy, and I don't know if it's actually laziness, because I don't think that I'm lazy as a person. I don't think I'm afraid of hard work, but like I couldn't get myself to like fall into line. And so I wanted to unpack that a little bit today. And like if you've clicked on this video, obviously you feel the same as well, and maybe this will be helpful for you, knowing that other people go through it, and B, kind of like we can figure out our next steps together. Because I do think that in recent times I have, maybe out of sheer necessity because of what we've gone through, or I don't know, maybe I'm just sick and tired of being sick and tired. That was the worst Dave Ramsey impression ever, but whatever. Actually, I am very sick right now, and I'm very tired, and I'm very sick of being sick and tired, like literally. But I digress. So maybe I just like stepped into that, or maybe because it's been on my mind for like the last 6 years or so, I've very slowly come to realize how to stay committed. So this is kind of perfect because it's mid-December, and for the last month or so I've been thinking about going into 2025, and like I am someone who has quarterly goals. I don't necessarily have like New Year's resolutions, but I do like to have a phrase for the year, or like a direction for the year. So 2024, I remember going into the year with like laser focus. That was my target. And like obviously I've like deviated from that at different times, but I do think that the things I said that I was going to do, I got laser focused on, and I did it. So for example, I was in a different position at the beginning of the year, and I was like, this time next year, this is in January, this time next year, I want to be we need to have bought a property. And I was like so laser focused on that. And I was like, how do I do that? It's like, well, A, I need to get a different income. B, I need to be in a lawyer position, because having a lawyer title means that we have more flexibility with the banks. So I was like, well, what do I need to do to get there? And I set out this game plan for my current position in order to get a promotion there. I approached that with my boss multiple times, and when that was not looking like it was going to eventuate, just because of the way the team was structured, I was like, okay, well, It's been great. Like, and I know that sounds like to a lot of people that I was talking to, they were like, oh, that's a bit, I don't know, entitled maybe. Like, I think a lot of people got that vibe from me, but I was like, this is my life. It's my career. I'm 28, now 29, but at the time I was 28. I was like, I have a baby already. I'm starting my career so late. I do not have any time to waste. I do not have time to be complacency. I do not have time to be complacent, and I didn't have the luxury of complacency. So I think maybe it was that like time pressure that really made me be like completely laser focused on this. So I went out and I networked with the people that I knew, and I was able to get myself a lawyer position, which I then started in August. So that was a bit frustrating, like the leap from like April to August. That was a long time between when I think it was May. Anyway, August was a bit later than I was hoping for. I was hoping for like a June start, but you know, I got there. I just wanted to add that obviously I had other reasons as well for wanting to step into a lawyer position and needing to do that ASAP. I've discussed them in other episodes, so feel free to check that out if you want to find out more about my like career journey. But yes, wanting to get into the property market was one thing I was very laser focused on, and this was something that was going to help me get there. Yeah, started that in August. What else did I get laser focused on this podcast? Like, I think this is the most committed, the most consistent I've been with anything. My running, it has been up and down, but I've stuck with running, which is also new for me. Like, to pick one thing and really stick with it instead of like kind of flitting around. Like, I really got stuck on that, even though I've had breaks, sickness, back problems here and there, whatnot. My running has stayed really, like, that's something I'm still really laser focused on. Like, everything I do fitness wise is to get me back to being able to run, Pilates, etc. I also now just love Pilates as well. I'm such a walking cliche. A law student who does Pilates. All that to say that 2024 was the year of being laser focused, and I think that I really stuck to that. 2025, I have a few, and I'm not really sure which ones I'm going to that are going to resonate with me, or maybe all of them. So I think I have 4, and I wrote on my desk. I'll take a photo of it, but on my desk at work I have these like sticky notes of the things that I'm going to really keep at the forefront of my brain for this year. I think I like having just the one, or like, let's see with 2025 how having a few goes, but because I'm such a like overcommitter, I've always been an overcommitter with my goals. Like, reach for like the biggest possible goal. And then of course my brain gets overwhelmed because it's like, well, I can't just get from like A to Z immediately. Like, you have to go A, B, C, D. Like, you can't just jump to Z straight away. So because I've always been such an overcommitter in that way, potentially I always try and do everything at once. Like, I set up a new budget, and I set up a new fitness regime, and I try and start a business, and not just one business. I try and start 2 businesses. Like, I bite off more than I can chew to like the extreme, and then I literally don't chew anything. I just spit it all out. So, but I feel like potentially just having the one like laser focus, one priority for 2024 really helped me to like stay committed to that and to be consistent with that approach. Kind of linking into that and linking into this whole concept of being like ambitious but lazy, and ambitious but never like reaching your goals or never sticking to your goals. Linked to that are like my new phrases for 2025. So one of them I've been having in the forefront of my mind for the last few months, and I've mentioned it on this podcast before, but it is undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. So this means like when you say you're going to do something, you do it, period. I have been notoriously bad at that. Not to other people. If I say I'm going to do something to anyone else, I will move mountains to honor that. But if I say I'm going to do something inwardly or like for myself, no, not going to happen. If I say I'm going to start getting up early, no. Anyone who is an OG follower from like 2 or 3 years ago when I lived in Crow's Nest and I was posting a lot on my Instagram, I had like this sleep challenge because I found it so hard to wake up in the mornings. And even with that, even with a whole host of people which I was trying to like keep accountable and like have them keep me accountable, I still struggled to wake up on time and to improve my sleep schedule. I could not get myself to get up early. And I'm not even talking like 5 a.m. I'm talking like 7 or 8. Like I struggled. I will say later we found out that like the mold in that household was so terrible. We were sick all year because of the mold, which probably impacted my sleep as well, but not an excuse. Okay, this is the other thing. This is the other thing that's really helped me recently. I think I heard this from Harmozy. I've been a big Alex Harmozy fan recently, which, look, it's a surprise to me. It is a surprise to me because I used to really not like him. And just recently, I've watched like 5 of his videos. I'm like, this is pretty good. I'm pretty motivated by this. I'm pretty inspired. I still think he's a bit of a dick, but I think that might be his shtick. So I think I can like look past it now because I think what he actually says is quite valuable. I mean, there's a lot of things I disagree with as well, like more from a life morals perspective, but like what he says about money and business, I'm like, yeah, I love this. I'm eating it up. Okay, so this is the thing. This is the thing that has really stuck with me a lot. Success does not care how valid your excuses are. Success does not care how valid your excuses are. You can have the best excuses in the world. That excuse is for no one but yourself. It's basically just telling you why you're not successful. It's like success doesn't go, oh yeah. Like there's not like this force of success. It's like, oh yeah, you had that hardship. That's okay. The only thing your valid excuses are giving you is permission to hold yourself back. When you start to realize that everyone in the world has hardship, everyone in the world has a valid excuse not to work hard, not to commit to a big goal, not to be successful, whatever that success looks like to you. Everyone has a valid excuse. You have to then realize that anyone who has made it or is successful or is living the life that you would like to live, you realize that they had to do it despite their excuses, despite having every reason in the world not to show up. They showed up and they still did it. And the only thing that a valid excuse is doing is giving you permission to hold yourself back. So I think once I heard that and once I really like processed that and internalized it, I was like, yeah, like I am so sick today. I'm so sick. I have every valid excuse under the sun not to be here talking to you. I have every excuse. I have a little baby boy who I would love to be spending time with. That's a very valid excuse. But I'm here. I'm showing up anyway. I feel like I'm getting a bit lost in this. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I think you have to look at whatever it is you're working towards, your goal, your version of success. You have to look at that and say, is it worth what I have to give up in order to get there? Is the financial freedom of owning investment properties and having a property portfolio replace your income, is that worth me and Connor having to work full-time in the city, have our first child in full-time daycare, really long hours from 7 until 5:30? Is it worth it? Is that something we are willing to do? The answer is yes, because whilst it is really shitty at the time and we feel like we're giving up a part of his childhood that we will never get back, the way we see it is it's a few years of pain for the rest of his life that we can be present. So to us, we're willing to sacrifice that quality time with him now so that we can have that quality time, so that we can be present and not have financial stress, because we know how much of a killer financial stress is for home relationships. We want to make sure that we have that financial peace in our home for as long of his life as possible. And that means like just for the next few years, we have to struggle. But we're choosing the struggle now so that we don't struggle forever. So far, because I think maybe this has been a bit of a like all over the place kind of chat. So far, the main points that I've hit are, if you feel like you're ambitious and you know what the steps are, but you cannot get your body to kick into gear and actually take action, the first thing to do is to laser focus in on one or two things at a time. Do not overwhelm your brain with huge, gigantic goals. Don't try and get from A to Z. Go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, whatever. The whole alphabet. You can't skip. You can't skip from A to Z. You have to take the steps. Your brain will be overwhelmed and you'll shut down and you won't do it. You have to stack undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. That you do what you say you're going to do for yourself, not just for other people, for yourself. The reason that's so important is because if you can prove to yourself that you can go A, B, C, D, then once you're at D and you're finding things a little bit hard, you can look back and go, I can do hard things. I got from A to D. Now I can get, I don't know the rest of the alphabet, but now I can take the necessary steps to get from D to Z. I know because I have undeniable proof that I show up for myself, that I do the things I need to do, that I will continue to do that. That I just need to keep working the plan and it's all going to happen. You can't underestimate the power of confidence in yourself and knowing that you can rely on yourself to show up for yourself. I know that not having that confidence, not having that ability to rely on myself to do what I need to do has halted me, has held me back for the last 10 years. The only way you can stack undeniable proof is by taking little steps. You need to do things that are small so that you can tick them off. If you say, I'm going to start working out, I'm going to start getting fit. If you say you're going to do that, you go, so what that looks like is I'm going to get up every morning at 5 a.m. I'm going to get up every morning at 5 a.m. and work out every single day. Like, no, that is jumping from A to Z. You can't do that. It's not going to work. Very few personalities can actually do that. You need to take small, consistent steps in order to stack that undeniable proof. So the way I've personally been doing it, because one of my goals is to get more fit. I have a very bad back, and every time Henry's sick, he just wants to be held, and I cannot hold him because my back is so bad. So I need to get a lot more fit. I really need to improve that core of mine. Plus, I find running incredible for my mental health, and I want to be able to run further and faster. So being fit and having that core strength is something that's really important to me right now. I was having trouble with consistency. And it's because I was trying to do it every single day, and I was trying to do the hardest possible version of running. I was trying to run as far as I could, as fast as I could every single day. Of course, I'm not going to be consistent. Of course, I'm going to burn out, and it's not going to continue. What I have found, and I have been able to be more consistent with this, is taking little steps. So one of two things you could do. You could say, I'm just going to start moving my body every single day. Doesn't have to be working out as such. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. It's just moving my body. Going for a walk, doing a stretch, yoga, the easiest form of movement, until you start to find that your body is craving that movement, until you start to find that your body is loving the movement and it's not a chore anymore. The other thing that you can do is you can go, instead of doing it every single day, because that's just not going to work for my life, you could go, I'm going to do it 2 days a week, or I'm going to start with just 1 day a week, and then I'm going to build up to 2 days a week, and then I'm going to build up to 3 days a week. Don't jump to 3 days a week if that's something that you're going to struggle with fitting into your calendar. The small steps feel like nothing, but they are everything. You need to lay A, B, and C. before you can get to Z. Leading on from that is something that Layla Harmozy said in a video I watched just recently, and she talked about rewarding yourself with the journey and not the outcome. I've heard this before where, like, Atomic Habits talks about systems instead of goals. I think that's Atomic Habits, about setting systems instead of goals. It's a very similar concept. But basically, instead of waiting to reward yourself until you hit the goal, start rewarding yourself mentally, physically, whatever you need to do for committing to the journey. Basically, the way I see that is like ticking off every day that you show up towards your goal. Like, to me, ticking things off a list is such a like dopamine hit. I think it's dopamine. I get a like rush when I tick things off a list. So if I'm ticking off mentally, checking, going, yeah, you did that, you showed up today, that is like rewarding myself for the journey instead of the outcome, because it is actually the journey that is more important than whatever outcome you've set for yourself. If you keep showing up for the journey, like, the outcome that's going to eventuate is probably going to be way bigger than you ever imagined. You're probably going to hit your goal and surpass it a lot faster in a way that you could never have even imagined if you keep showing up to the journey instead of focusing on the goal. The goal is too far removed from you. It feels too far away. It feels overwhelming. It feels too hard. It feels like I'm not good enough for that yet. And if you don't have the undeniable proof that you are who you say that you are, you won't feel worthy of the goal and you will self-sabotage. I think this really comes down to like your identity as well. Like, make the journey, make the habits part of your identity. So this is such a basic example. I really don't love this example, but like, it's the first thing that comes to my mind. If you're trying to like be stronger and healthier, make it part of your identity that you don't eat fast food. You just don't, that's not something you eat. I remember when I met Connor, I was like in a bit of a health kick, and for a really long time I didn't eat fast food. I remember meeting him and just being like, oh yeah, like it just sort of came up in conversation, and it was like, oh, you don't really eat that sort of food, do you? I was like, no, I don't. And then like in my brain, it was like, yeah, I'm someone who doesn't eat fast food. I mean, obviously I eat fast food now. I eat fast food now. That was a phase of my life. But like, it's so much easier to commit to a goal if you adjust the way you view yourself. So like, I'm not good with money. I'm not good at saving money. Like, if you keep telling yourself that, you're never going to hit your savings goal. You're never going to continually save money. You have to reframe the way you view yourself and reframe your identity to be someone who is good at money. You have to tell yourself, I am good at money. Start telling yourself that, and watch how much more you save. Watch how much more you consider your purchases and how much more intentional you are with your spending. Another thing that I am putting into my focus for 2025 is so I have undeniable proof that you are who you say you are, consistency, which is like, the journey, not the outcome. So focusing on really being consistent. I think like for me personally, consistency is something I've just always struggled with, and that is going to be like my big focus for 2025. And that kind of goes hand in hand with stacking undeniable proof that you are who you say that you are. What was the other one? That's right. Oh my God. Okay, here we are. Okay. I'm so glad I remembered this. I would have like kicked myself on the way home if I hadn't been able to talk about this. The third one that is really big for 2025, and I haven't quite got it clear in my head how I'm going to do this. So I need to do that. I need to really note it down and like get clear with what I'm going to do in order to action this. But it is pushing myself towards discomfort. Leaning into discomfort, finding discomfort, seeking discomfort. And the reason is that I think that comfort kills your goals. Comfort is the place that dreams go to die. Comfort is complacency, and it will suck the life out of you. I think that as human beings, we need to be constantly growing and challenging ourselves and evolving and developing in order to be happy humans. It's sort of in this like paradigm where like we seek comfort. Like It's like we're growing and we're seeking success so that we can have comfort. But I think that the minute you have comfort, you lose success. It sounds a bit weird, but when I was analyzing my own behavior this year, because I was really getting frustrated with the fact that I could not get myself to do what I wanted to do, like I was not reaching my goals. I think like a big realization for me, and I was telling a friend this, and it felt really big to kind of like say this out loud, is that I am very much a creature of comfort, and I find it very hard to be in a space of discomfort. I don't like being bad at things. And that is not because I'm, brilliant at everything that I do, or like I don't even think it's really coming from being a perfectionist. I think it's like because it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable and I don't like that feeling. But you know what being bad at things does? Being bad at things makes you grow and it makes you be better at those things. Discomfort is where we find growth. It's where we find true success. Like the only way we're going to push forward is by engaging and seeking that discomfort. So I am going to this year 2025, really find ways of seeking discomfort. I think this is like what some people do when they do like cold plunges or, oh God, I can't even think of, let's ask ChatGPT. Oh my gosh, you know what is literally so funny about that is that all of the things ChatGPT came up with were like too hard for me to do, like a cold shower, for example. I don't think I could ever do a cold shower. I love a hot shower. I was thinking about this in my extremely hot shower the other day. I was like, oh no, I know people do cold showers. I know they say it's a really good one to do, but like a hot shower makes me too happy. It's too much self-care. I really need to be having this and I can't give that up. And then my brain started to be like thinking of all the other little things that I could give up or like discomforts I could push myself towards. And my brain kept having the same response, like, oh no, that makes me too happy. Like, oh no, I couldn't possibly give up my coffee. And then I was like, there's a pattern here. So I'm going to have to start really small with this one and find little things to like build up my tolerance for discomfort throughout 2025. Putting yourself in a place of public speaking in a work environment or, raising new points at a meeting. This is definitely a way of seeking that discomfort. Yeah, switching. So ChatGPT gave a few examples. Taking on new responsibilities or switching roles or jobs. That is something that I have done this year and I freaking hated it. I cried every day of the first 3 months of my job. It really put me in a place of discomfort. But like, look at the skills that I'm learning. Look at the people I'm networking with. This is going to push me into a new phase of my life that is going to be better for me. But I found that so difficult because I am not comfortable with discomfort. I am not in a habit of being uncomfortable. And I really think that if you're not in the habit of being uncomfortable, you're not going to seek it out. And like that is the only way that you can grow and challenge yourself and reach your full potential. And like it really does tie back into from a financial standpoint as well. If you get comfortable with being uncomfortable, you won't fall victim to the like incessant marketing that we get from social media, because you will be okay with being uncomfortable, like not having the latest it thing or having that delayed gratification so that you can put money into your investing, that you can live on a minimal budget. Seeking that discomfort and getting comfortable with discomfort will allow you to really turbo boost your finances, because you will become immune to the influx of marketing that is all over social media. You'll become immune to the social pressures in order to look or be a certain way. So they're the main things that I will be focusing on in 2025 in order to really try and like turbo boost my life and charge forward into the life that I am supposed to be living. because I am sick of being in a state of limbo, and I'm sick of living in a misalignment with my values and my goals. It is actually very uncomfortable living in a misalignment of your values and goals. And so I guess I'm just choosing the discomfort, aren't I? I'm choosing the hard now so that I'm not living in this hard forever. I want to make hard choices so that I can really be aligned with where I'm supposed to be. It is really freaking hard to have all of these big goals and feel like you're forever not reaching them, that you're forever falling short. Like, that is such a hit on your identity. It's such a hit. And like, if your identity is shattered, your confidence is shattered, which means your competence is shattered. It is actually, the more I think about it, so crucial to get on top of this, like, laziness or not knowing how to get yourself to take the steps that you need to take, not knowing how to be consistent. This is so important, and I'm so happy that I'm doing this. I'm so happy that this is what I have decided to focus on for 2025, because I feel like this is really this is going to be the thing that is going to turbocharge me and like thrusts me into the life I'm supposed to be living. Let me know what your goals or what your focus is going to be for 2025, or for like Q1 of 2025, however you want to do however you set up your goals. Let me know. I would really love to hear them and engage with them, and you might even inspire me to take on an extra few goals. I really like the concept of having a mindset, a goal of a mindset going into a year rather than specific goals. I think it just feels more like attainable, and it kind of gives you that unity of life because you're putting those mindsets into every facet of your life, as opposed to like having like a narrow focus. And like having a narrow focus can be really good as well. Like if you want to be able to like run 10K, or if you want to be able to run a marathon or whatever it might be, that is really good as well. Like that's a really great goal to have. But I think like from an overall growth perspective, and from like being able to tick it off and go like, yeah, I am someone who does what I say I'm going to do. From that perspective, having a mindset that like infiltrates through all facets of your life is like, I don't know, more achievable maybe, or like I just found it worked so well for 2024. So I'm definitely going to continue doing that for 2025. Let me know what you're going to be doing, how you're setting yourself up for the next year. And may it be the best year of your freaking life, because we are no longer going to be in misalignment with our values. We're no longer going to be in limbo. We are going to be stepping into the life that we are supposed to be living, the life that we were put on this earth to live. Let's do it together. Let me know what you're doing. Comment below. Okay, see you next time. Bye.